All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking some incredibly concentrated, profound concepts from the mastery of mindset and expression. We're going to explore a major paradigm shift regarding how we process negativity and how we can literally rewire our daily responses. We'll be breaking down the exact mechanics of our emotions, giving us all a much more straightforward way to manage those inevitable bad days.
So, I want you to think about the last time a really bad mood just completely hijacked your entire day. Ask yourself, is that feeling truly who you are? I mean, when we get stuck in terrible traffic or we get a sharply worded email from a colleague, that heavy cloud of frustration rolls in almost instantly, right? We have absolutely all been there. But does that temporary cloud have to become your identity for the next 24 hours? Well, the source material we're exploring today argues a resounding no, and it provides a fascinating, highly actionable framework for breaking that exact cycle.
Okay, moving right into section 1, the power of mindset.
You know, we all encounter that heavy, daily burden of a negative mindset. Whether it's waking up on the wrong side of the bed or facing an unexpectedly tough meeting at work, it's just a completely unavoidable part of the human experience. But what's really interesting here is how the text presents its core paradigm shift. It simply says, verbalize the negative attitude, but don't let it define you. In just that one sentence, we're given a surprisingly straightforward strategy for emotional management. Notice that it doesn't tell us to just blindly smile through the pain or pretend the negativity isn't sitting right there in the room with us. Instead, it gives us a very specific action to take, followed immediately by a strict psychological boundary that we need to set.
Let's jump to section 2 and see how this builds, facing the negative. Because counterintuitively, trying to just suppress that negativity, it actually makes things a whole lot worse. If we ignore a bad mood, it just sort of festers in the background, right? It subtly ruins our interactions and completely drains our energy. So instead of pushing that bad attitude down, the text demands that we turn around and face it directly. To bring these feelings out of our heads, the source instructs us to verbalize, meaning you actively bring the internal negative attitude out into the open simply by speaking it. It's all about giving a literal voice to the frustration, the anger, or the sadness. The physical act of vocalizing the negativity is the exact mechanism that drains its power over you. It's basically like taking the monster out of the dark closet and putting it under a bright spotlight.
We can actually break this down into a super clear process based on the text. Step 1, you have to actually feel the negative attitude. Don't hide from it. Step 2, acknowledge it exists, give it a name. And step 3, speak it out loud. By literally saying to a trusted friend, wow, I am incredibly angry about how that morning meeting went, you are taking the first actionable step toward mastering your mindset rather than just running from it. You are taking the internal and making it external.
Which brings us perfectly to section 3, separation of self.
But here's where the source strictly warns us. You absolutely must create a distance between that expression and who you fundamentally are. You've spoken the negativity, sure, but now you have to draw a hard line in the sand. There's this super dangerous, all too common trap we fall into where we say, I am a failure. That is an identity statement. That is letting the negative attitude define you completely. Instead, the source pushes us toward stating, I am experiencing frustration. You see the difference? You are verbalizing the negative, yes, but the phrasing creates an absolute boundary. You aren't the frustration, you are simply the person observing it and moving through it.
By treating expression purely as a release mechanism, you create this necessary philosophical space between the person and the emotion. Expression is just a temporary tool for release. It is absolutely not a lifelong label defining your identity. The source material essentially views expression like a pressure valve on a machine. You open the valve by verbalizing, you let the dangerous steam out, and then you close it. The steam is not the machine itself.
And this takes us to section 4, choosing your attitude.
So once you've successfully cleared out that emotional cache and safely detached from the negativity, you are left with a blank slate. We reach the real climax of this framework. You're no longer weighed down by unexpressed negativity, and you aren't trapped in the false belief that you're just fundamentally a negative person. When you look at the source's complete actionable sequence here, it all clicks. Step 1, verbalize the negative. Step 2, don't let it define you. And now, step 3, choose your attitude. This sequence is absolutely vital. It proves that walking into work with a productive mindset isn't just luck. It's a deliberate choice you make after effectively managing the negative. You are the architect of your own emotional resilience.
Let the weight of this profound final directive really land.
choose your attitude. Because after you clear that negativity out, the power of choice is literally entirely yours. It's a direct command from our source material that places the ultimate responsibility right back in your hands. You aren't a victim to a bad morning or a terrible commute anymore. By following this framework, you earn the autonomy to decide exactly how you will walk into the very next minute of your day. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought and challenge you to put this mastery into practice right now. The next time that familiar, heavy wave of negativity rolls in, I want you to remember this structure. Let the feeling out, actively protect your core identity from it, and then take the wheel. So, what attitude will you choose today?